Hello, horror addicts. I'm Kristin Battestella, aka Kbatz. If you can see me, you can see I'm surrounded by tombstones. Cardboard tombstones, to be exact. Now, it's not Halloween just yet, but now is the time to start doing all of your fall crafts if you haven't already. We've already had a couple articles at horroraddicts.net about some of the crafts and Halloween decor that we're working on, that we're doing. And you can always take part and show us your stuff at our Facebook group. But before I get into the DIY about what possessed me to make all these giant cardboard tombstones, let's talk about some of your cemetery options when you are looking to do, your Halloween haunts this October. Well, sometimes they're very small. You can only get, one or two for a couple dollars a piece that are kind of tiny, and they're little styrofoam, and you're stuck with whatever RIP, skulls and spiders, Billy Bones, clairvoyant, should have seen it coming on the tombstone. Well, and they're styrofoam, maybe they crumble, maybe they break, so you really only get your money's worth when you get those little tiny tombstones. And anybody who knows anything about cemeteries, that's not really what's on tombstones. And the little child-size stones are actually a little too realistically morbid for my taste. But then your only other option, well, you could get some of those kits, maybe $25, $30, that maybe have 10 tombstones in them. But again, you're stuck with the same size, the same phrases, nothing that you can really customize. You could go extreme if you are a big power tool fan. Side note, don't forget about Kill Switch, the horroraddicts.net anthology that's currently out now. It's all about all the technological terrors if you are into science and power tools and everything run amok. But that's also getting pretty expensive. You can go to your local supply construction store, get the massive commercial grade pink styrofoam, get out all those blow torches and saws, and etch yourself some really beautiful elaborate mausoleums. But you're going to spend $200 or $300 for that. So, is there something in between? I hope so, with this little cardboard option. Now, not every kind of cardboard or every kind of styrofoam works. Now, I had been saving some of the thicker corrugated sort of cardboard, but that just soaked up a lot of spray paint. I was out in a couple dollars of spray paint. And the styrofoam that comes in boxes in insulation and packing just crumbles up and again soaks up a lot of paint. I was very angry and I ripped everything up because it wasn't working. But regular shipping boxes actually seem to be quite effective in making tombstones, believe it or not. You can get regular boxes really at the grocery store, anywhere, or a lot of us today get a lot of things shipped. So even something, maybe if you are doing something family size, you could get the kids to save some of the larger cardboard, the bulk cereal boxes, and they can make up their own designs, gets them into some recycling and into some nice crafting. Now, I'm not Bob Ross, so I'm not going to show you. I'm not an artist. I'm not fancy. I thought about showing you how I lovely painted all of these, but no. Nor do I really want to say 50 Shades of Gray, but just acrylic craft paint. They actually do make gray colors, granite or pavement. They have all kinds of cute colors, and some of the smaller tubes are only 50 cents. And of course, black and white paint. And my main goal here, if I can show you, since I knew I was using plain old flat cardboard and I was not going to get into any kind of elaborate designs or etching, which if you are a stencil artist or if you are into using different kind of fancy tools, you could do, some really nice kind of scroll, vine, Victorian motifs, but I was not going to do that. But I knew I wanted something that had some kind of texture or stone type of feeling or kind of dimension to it. So I basically went in streaks with the variated shades of different of the grays. Some of the light gray, the dark gray, or not over mixing some of the black and white. So that way I got different streaks and designs, which made it seem like stone, but also maybe gave it a little bit of an aged or kind of old kind of look. And then in some spots and things on the corners, I did go around with some nice different lime kind of green paints, just to give a feeling, the way copper tends to get aged or old-fashioned. And when I put these outside, I would love to do little bits of moss on the corners and in the cracks, And some things have more green than others. There's a Frankenstein back here. I have a Lady Macbeth that has a lot of green, just for accents. I also wanted to make an impact kind of statement because I had so many boxes and I kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I used these Kraft letters. Over here you can see. These were just from your hobby craft store. This styrofoam little stick-on letters. And as you can see, I did kind of start to cheat after a while, where the B's became R's and O's became C's. Really, that's the only thing that stopped me. I ran out of letters. And I thought it would look just kind of tacky if, oh, there's a missing letter because I didn't have the letter, not because it was old and fell off. But some of them actually have little broken corners or little bent kind of ends, which I thought did look kind of, maybe a little old. And instead of just stark black, I did go over these with a little bit of gray, maybe to dull them a little bit. And again, you can go over however you want with some kind of elaborate ornate designs if you wanted. There's certain ones, I can't find any of them now. The little insets of the letters is where I used little initializing. These are the little dots that were inside the P's or the B's. So you could design, paint on, make your own fancy names. I just went with heart icons because I just wanted a big, simple kind of statement. This big, elaborate thing is just boxes stacked together, and I did paint this larger lettering on top of here. And there's a spire up on top there that you can't quite see. I'm in my scary basement with my low ceilings, which was actually a real garden stake that I just turned upside down and painted black because I wanted a spooky spire on top of my little gateway. And these are actually, some of them are held together and are way down at the bottom or can be staked into the ground when needed with just regular garden stakes. So the total cost for these was under $50, and I have 14, I think, plus the big gateways and fountains and columns. So I think I got my money's worth for that, compared to a little bit with something very small that's assembly line that everybody has the same of it. You can't customize it. Or instead of something massively huge that costs a lot of money, I do maybe have something in between. Now, naturally, these are cardboard. There are some pros and cons to them. I did pick up a spray paint kind of sealant that expressly said for paper and fabrics crafts to maybe preserve some of the designs in the front. But you can already see this took me over the summer, off and on, a couple weekends. I would do a few of them at a time. But some of the older ones, you can already see places where maybe a paint has been nipped or where some of the tape to hold the box closed is coming undone. So you can expect to have touch-ups. And this is not the kind of project, obviously, that you would have out from Labor Day to Thanksgiving, like some of us would, let's be honest. I really wouldn't even put these out early in the morning around any kind of dew or mist, or even near your fog machine. Maybe you might have to be careful. This to me is really only for if you have a Saturday or Sunday trick-or-treating hour, or just for Halloween night, where in the day you didn't have it, and then people come to trick-or-treat at your house, and then boom, all of a sudden there's an entire giant cemetery on your yard. So I did want to over-accessorize them. I do have a skull back here somewhere, a skull, there he is, that I want to put beside Shakespeare, and I'll probably put a raven here on top of Poe. But I wanted to keep it simple. I thought about, having blood drip all over Dracula here, but I thought, well, then it's getting, I don't know, a little too kind of crazy. So I wanted to keep it simple. And you could go as crazy, elaborate as you want, do as many, a few, or as little as you want. If you can see, this guy over here is a fountain. I kept explaining to my family I was going to make a fountain out of cardboard. Nobody could understand what I meant. I said, that's not possible. I said, well, it wouldn't have water in it, obviously. It would be old and dried up. This little face is actually just a dollar store Halloween door knocker where the bottom had broken off. And of course, because I'm spooky, I kept it even though it was broken. And this is a bowl that was cut in half, and everything is all glued and taped. And this, I added more of the green as if it were a dried up fountain. And of course I'll do, as I said, some of the different types of moss, you know, adding up, making it just a little more spooky, a little more as if it's been outside for a long time, which is the effect I think that we're looking for. So, and obviously, as you can see, they're not all square just because the boxes. You could have everything square, but some of them I stacked or did differently. And I worked with the boxes. If some of them were kind of broken or dented or leaned a little bit, I thought, well, that's okay. That's what would really happen to maybe an old stone that might have been broken. So don't look at it just as cardboard. I've also written several other Kbatz crafts posts at horroraddicts.net where I talk about that, you know, picking up some things to repurpose, not the cat who's roaming around here. We're not going to paint the cat, no. But to, you know, shop all year round for some Halloween items or look at different types of garden or other holiday items in new, unique ways. I also have more pumpkin articles. Don't forget my other video about how to make stuffed pumpkins. And this year we've gotten even bigger on the pumpkins. At horroraddicts.net, you can tell us about your designs and you can read more about the pumpkins I've done. The pumpkins just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, I feel like I'm going to drop the pumpkin on the cat. No. Okay. No. So, our giant pumpkin ottomans. Woo! I'm surrounded by pumpkins and it's kind of scary. Woo! I need to sit down. Okay. HorrorAddicts.net. I'm Kristin Battestella, aka Kbatz. Check out my Kbatz crafts and tell us what you think on our Facebook group. Oh, I need to get all these tombstones outside. What? Am I sitting on the cat?